All right, let's talk Valorant. We're going to cut through all the noise and get straight to the settings that pros are actually using to get that competitive edge. No fluff, just what works.
So, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your settings are actively holding you back? It's super frustrating, right? You know you've got the aim, you feel like your game sense is on point, but you're just stuck. Well, if your setup isn't optimized, you're basically playing with one hand tied behind your back from the start.
And look, this isn't just a thing for new players. Check out this quote from a top coach. He sees it all the time. Even really good players have settings that are, well, they're all over the place. The good news? This is a super easy problem to fix, and that's exactly what we're going to do right now.
Okay, let's dive right into the General Settings tab. Our goal here is simple. We want to see more, and we want to aim better. Everything we change is going to be for one of those two reasons.
First things first, enemy highlight color. And there's actually a little bit of psychology at play here. The go-to for most pros is yellow, specifically the Deuteranopia setting. It pops. It stands out against pretty much every background in Valorant. Now, some people swear by red or purple, and there's some science that says the color red can trigger a faster reaction time. It's really up to you, but if you're not sure, yellow is the gold standard for a reason.
All right, let's talk sensitivity. But before we do, we have to talk about EDPI. What is it? It just stands for effective dots per inch. Think of it as your true sensitivity. It's the only way to actually compare your sense to someone else's. The formula is super simple. Just take your in-game sensitivity and multiply it by your mouse's DPI. That number, that's your EDPI.
So what's the magic number? Well, for Valorant, most pros land somewhere in this range, 250 to 400 EDPI. And you might be thinking, wow, that sounds low. And you're right. Valorant is all about tiny, precise movements, those little micro-adjustments for headshots. It's not a crazy fast-paced game like Apex or Call of Duty, so you want that lower, more controllable sensitivity.
Okay, so how do you find your sweet spot in that range? It's easy. Just hop into the practice range, pick a bot, and try to smoothly track its head. Is your crosshair all shaky and jittery? Your sense is probably too high. Does it feel like you're dragging your mouse through molasses? It's too low. Just tweak it up or down until it feels buttery smooth. Oh, and one last check. Make sure you can still do a comfortable 180-degree turn without picking up your mouse a million times. This next one is super quick but absolutely crucial. Find the raw input buffer setting and turn it on. Basically, this tells Valorant to listen directly to your mouse and ignore any weird settings Windows might be trying to add, like mouse acceleration. You get the purest, most consistent aim possible. Just a little heads up, some really cheap mice might not like this setting, but for 99% of you, it's a must. Okay, let's talk about the minimap. Seriously, this thing is like your second pair of eyes. It's maybe the most important tool for winning rounds. Now, everyone knows to set it to rotate, but here's the real pro secret. Turn Keep Player Centered to off. Trust me. This shifts your player icon to the back of the minimap, giving you a way bigger view of what's in front of you. It's a game changer for your awareness.
And let's get specific with the numbers. For the minimap size, you're going to want to set it to 1.2. This makes it big enough to see everything you need at a quick glance, but not so big that it's taking over your entire screen.
And to go along with that size, set the zoom to exactly 0.93. Yeah, it's a weirdly specific number, but there's a reason. This is the perfect zoom level to let you see the entire map on big maps like Icebox. No more guessing what's happening on the other side of the map.
All right, let's do a quick lightning round of a few other important toggles. Show corpses, turn that off. The little glowing orbs are way cleaner and won't block your view of someone hiding behind them. Show blood, turn that on. The red splash is a much clearer confirmation that you hit your shot. And lastly, use generic names. Turn it on. This way you won't get all nervous if you see a famous pro on the enemy team. Everyone's just enemy sage.
Okay, so we've got our general settings dialed in. Next up, controls and crosshair. These are literally how you interact with the game, so getting them perfect is key for precision aiming.
There are two keybinds here that I'd say are pretty much non-negotiable. First, you absolutely have to bind jump to your mouse wheel, either up or down. This is the secret to bunny hopping consistently, and if you play agents like Jett or Raze, it's a must. Second, give the spike its own unique keybind. Don't have it on the same key as use. This will save you from that nightmare scenario where you try to defuse but pull out the spike instead. We've all been there.
This one's a little pro tip, especially for your operator players out there. Try switching your scope from toggle to hold.
I know it feels weird at first, but guys like Tens and Oxy do this for a reason. It lets you unscope and react to a flash way, way faster. Just give it a shot for a few games. It might just click for you.
And now, the Crosshair. This is probably the most personal setting in the entire game. But it's not just random. There are different philosophies. You can go for a tiny dot like Olapass for that pure pixel-perfect one-tap precision, or maybe a classic plus sign like Forsaken's, which is great for precision, but also gives you a little help guiding your spray. Or you could go with a bigger box like Texture, which is awesome for those fast, chaotic, close-range fights. It's all about finding a style that fits you.
Want to get even more advanced? Here's a cool trick. You can actually set a different crosshair for when you aim down sights, or ADS. So, you could have your normal crosshair for hipfire, but the second you scope in, it switches to a tiny, precise dot. This is perfect for getting that extra bit of accuracy on long-range shots.
All right, last section. Let's power through this. We're talking video and audio. The goal here is simple. Performance, performance, performance. We want to squeeze every last frame out of our PC and make sure our ears are picking up every single footstep.
The #1 rule here is performance over pretty graphics. Nobody cares what the flowers on Haven look like. So, multi-threaded rendering? On. Vignette? Off. VSync? Absolutely off. That just adds input lag. All the other graphics settings? Just set them to low. And if you've got an NVIDIA graphics card, make sure NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency is set to On plus Boost. This will make your game feel incredibly responsive.
Okay, there is one exception to the everything on low rule, and it's a personal choice. It's about any-aliasing and anisotropic filtering. If you turn them completely off, you'll get the most frames per second, for sure. But player models can look kind of shimmery and jagged. Bumping them up to 4x will cost you a few FPS, but it makes enemies look a lot smoother and, for some people, easier to track. You gotta play around with this one and see what feels best for your eyes.
Now let's jump over to the audio tab. There is one setting here you need to turn on, and that's HRTF. I know, it's a weird acronym. It stands for Head-Related Transfer Function, but all you need to know is that it's like a 3D audio upgrade for your ears. It makes telling where sounds are coming from. Footsteps, reloads, alts, so much more accurate. It's gonna sound really different at first, but I'm telling you, force yourself to play with it for a day. You will never go back.
And finally, please, I am begging you, for the sake of your teammates, take 2 minutes to fix your voice chat. Don't leave your microphone and headphones on default. Manually select the ones you're actually using so they don't randomly switch mid-game. Then, use the loopback test button to hear yourself. Are you too quiet? Are you deafening your team? Adjust that volume so your comms are perfect. Your teammates will thank you.
So there you have it. What we've just done is build a solid foundation. Look, are these settings going to instantly make you radiant? No, of course not. But what they will do is remove all the little roadblocks and disadvantages your old settings were creating. You now have a stable, optimized base to actually build your skill on.
And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? You've built the foundation, your setup is now pro level, so the real work can begin. Ask yourself, what's the next mistake in your actual gameplay that you need to fix? Because that's how you'll really start to climb.